Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 287th installment in the Torah portion of the week. We are holding a Parshas Shemos. Parshas Shemos, the beginning of the book of Exodus. It's going to be in the book of Exodus for a while. So this Parsha talks about generation passing of Yosef and his brothers and the whole plot of Pharaoh, what to do with the Jewish people because they're multiplying by leaps and bounds, right? And then you have the birth of Moses identifying with the people, and God, choosing Moses to go and save the Jewish people, and the names of God, whatever. There's a lot of different things here in the parsha. But the Torah says in Exodus chapter 4, verse 22, right here. Right here, the Torah says, you shall say to Pharaoh, so said Hashem, my firstborn son is Israel. Right? In other words, God says to Moses to tell Pharaoh, Jewish people are my firstborn. Right? They're considered my firstborn over here. Right? That's what you're going to tell them. Now, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean exactly? That, we chose God, God chose us. That's true, right? And the fact that God appears to Moses, tells him you're going to be the one to take the Jewish people out, right? And all that. But what does it mean over here? We're considered the firstborn, right? It says, Moy Rebbe, Moshe should be well. And it brings down in Chochmah V'das and its commentary on Chumash. And he says like this. That a father, or let's say better, the firstborn son to his father, makes the father a father, right? In other words, his first child, right? He has a son, right? He's considered the firstborn, right? We'll make it easy. And the father is now called or crowned, as my Rebbe here says. He's crowned as father. Why is he crowned as a father? Because he had a firstborn, right? He becomes a father when he has a child. Or we're just talking about a boy that would be born, and again, if there's no miscarriage, or when a woman gave birth, it wasn't through a C-section, so that would be considered the firstborn. He considered the firstborn anyway, but doesn't necessarily have that status, a specific status, of the firstborn, without getting into that. But he's considered the firstborn. So a child that the father has, the son is considered the firstborn. What does he do? He makes the father a father. So too, that the Jewish people make God king. Why? Because the king, if he wants to be king, he has to have a people. And if he doesn't have a people, what kind of king has power if he doesn't have subjects? Right? God himself, now we'll go on record here. God himself doesn't need a people. He doesn't need the earth. He doesn't need plants. Doesn't need the stars. Doesn't need the moon. God doesn't need that. 100% God doesn't need it. Okay. But nonetheless, a king in general, if he wants to rule, he has to have subjects. He's going to have someone he rules over. So we, the Jewish people, we're the ones that recognize his kingship. So therefore, my Rebbe here says that God accepts the fact that he's king and we're subjects. We have an obligation to serve him. And that's what we say every day. We say, Kil Hashem HaMelucha. God is the one who's king. He's the one in charge. Right? That's what we say. That's by the Jewish people. What about the non-Jews? So he says by the non-Jews, a king, how does the king rule in general? By power. That's how the king rules. That's why it says, Moshe B'goyim. Right? That the king rules by the non-Jews. Emotional means to rule. It's a forced rule over here. We're not talking about democracy. Kings and powers got absolute power. Right? Everyone recognizes the kingship. Yeah, you have no choice. Because you go into the king could cut off your head. King is that real power. But you see, by a king to his subjects, what does the king do? Right, certainly by the non-Jews, whatever he wants. Got absolute power. One of the things I learned in 9th grade in my social studies class, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So he's got power. Why does he have power? He's got power because he takes power. He forces power on the people. There's a difference. We're the subjects. We're the ones that serve God. Now, non-Jews also have to serve God. By keeping the Noahide laws if they don't want to convert. They also have to serve God. But God calls us his firstborn. Why? Because we chose God. We wanted him. We wanted him to lead us. And all that. So we're going to make God king. And by making God king, de facto, that means we're going to serve him, or we should serve him. That's by choice. It's not by pure force. Right? So whatever you're saying, by non-Jews, it's a whole different thing. By non-Jews, it's pure force. There's pure force over here. And that's what we say also every day in the Shema. And after we say Shema Yisrael, we declare God's kingship. Right here, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. What do we say after that? We say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam V'ed. We say God, the source of all blessing, his honor of his kingship should be forever. Very good. So what does that mean? It means, what do the non-Jews think? Or God forbid, secular Jews. What do they think? They make a claim that God is so lofty. God is so up there, he's busy with black holes, keeping the earth where it is, not too close, not too far away from the sun, keeping nature the way it should be, and functioning. And so they're going to say God's so lofty, it's like he takes his eyes off creation. Right? It's as if to say no connection. Imagine if like someone built this huge building. Someone built a huge building, and guess what? After he built it, he disappeared. Kind of hard to understand where an omnipresent being goes. He's everywhere at all times. Right there he is under the rock. Boom! Right there he is. Right, so over here, what do they say? He doesn't have the power to do anything. Maybe he created the world, okay? So let's say he created the world, big deal. So he created the world, he's not in charge of anything else. Too lofty, he's doing these other things. What do we say? What do we, the Jewish people, say? We say even today, we're subject to his kingship. We have to serve him. Right? What's the problem? What's the main problem here? It says the main problem is we live in exile. And by being in exile, we don't see him, we don't feel it. In Israel, it's easier. We don't see direct miracles per se. God, has hidden himself. It's hiddenness within hiddenness, as the Torah says in the book of Deuteronomy. We want God to be revealed. We want to see his power in this world. Be able to see with our own eyes, not just in hiddenness. Right? But what's the majesty of his glory? That's going to be the future. It was in the past. We just blew it, by having the temple destroyed. God's presence not here. Right? We want God's presence to be revealed. So that's why we say, Baruch Shem Malchus Olam V'ed. His kingship is forever. We want to see it now. We want to see it. We want it to be revealed. Right? Even though in the end it's going to be revealed anyway, we want to see it now. Right? So we're called God's firstborn. God chose us. He didn't choose anyone else. Because the reality is nobody else wanted it. God goes there, all the nations of Avodah Zarah 2b to 3a. Goes this whole discussion, God goes to all the nations. You want the Torah? No, each one rejects it. Each nation rejects it. God comes to Jewish people and says, you want the Torah? They say, sure. You want to know what's written in it? They say, Naaseh v'nishma. We'll do, then we'll hear. We don't care what's written in it. We'll do whatever it takes. So people say, come on, you're God's firstborn. You're the chosen people. People have an issue. Oh, you think it's so great? You're the chosen people. Yeah, God chose us. We chose him. Anybody wants, they can tap in. They can tap in easily. If they want to go through conversion, have all the mitzvahs, very good. They want to have some of the mitzvahs to be able to eat cheeseburgers, be able to eat shrimp, keep the no-hide laws, not a problem, right? We don't discriminate. We don't say, believe in us, we're frying out forever. A non-Jew keeps what he's supposed to keep. We'll have a portion of the world to come, right? May not be exactly the same as a Jew, but I'll have a portion of the world to come, right? There's a major difference. Major difference. Difference between a king who rules by power, by might, forcefully. Does he have subjects? He has subjects. Subjects are afraid to do anything, afraid to say anything. But he has subjects. But that's not the same, right? Rabbi over here is saying, right? He's saying the fact that a king can't be king without a people. And we recognize that kingship. Now, can't anyone else recognize it? God went to the other nations. They didn't want. But could they recognize it today? They could. But they can't, if they want to, they can convert. They don't want to be part of the Jewish people, okay. They don't want to be part of the Jewish people, they don't have to. Or if they can't, doesn't matter. Whatever reason. They don't have to. They just have to do what God says. They have to keep the no-hide laws. But here, my Rebbe is pointing out, God can be God and have power, but he needs subjects. He needs people to serve him. That's what he needs. And by serving him, that shows God's greatness in the world. All right? So we want to bring that kingship and show that kingship to the world. Problem is, we live in exile. Right over here points out, we're in exile. Can God's presence be seen in exile? No. Is God's ways, are they hidden within hiddenness? Yes. Total hiddenness. Only in the future, God's going to reveal himself, and the whole world will know. We're not there yet. I mean, we're close, but we're not there yet. So there's a major difference. Major difference here. Right? A non-Jewish king, he's gonna rule by the strength of his fist. Ironclad. Dictatorship. Does that mean he has the people that serve him? No. Technically, you'll say there's no difference. They serve him anyway. Yeah, but not serving him. Not serving the way a king deserves to be served. They're serving him because if they don't, they'll die. Do this, off with your head. And God with the Jewish people. We chose him. We want to draw close to him. We're going to do as many mitzvahs as we can. Is there payback if we don't? Yes. There's going to be payback. 100%. Nonetheless, it's not like, iron fist over it. We have free choice. We can choose to be close to him, to want to do and keep Torah mitzvahs or not. And if we choose not to, okay. Doesn't mean you're not going to pay a price. Whether in this world or the next, doesn't matter. You'll pay a price. Torah states clear. You do what you're supposed to do, very good. You don't do what you're supposed to do, payback. Second paragraph of the Shema. Right? Many times. Do this, don't do that. It could be absolutely severe. Could be less severe, more severe. Right? But a king wants to serve for the benefit of the people that serve him. And the people that serve him have to serve him right. They don't have to do what he says. But it's not like, I got the ball and chain. Do this. No, whap. Do it. You gonna do this? No, whap. It's not leadership. That's not kingship. That's what we call dictatorship. By non-Jews, it's different. Right? Because there, the ruling is through what? Power. Here, the ruling is to correct us. That we need to do what he says in order to do the right thing. Right? That's going to be a benefit for us. Now, it has to be understood. Even though mitzvahs, a lot of them don't make sense. God says you got to do it anyway. That's going to draw you close. That's going to help your soul. But we want God's kingship revealed. Revealed in this world. What's the problem? We're not the Messiah. We're in exile. Even here in Israel, we're in exile. It's got a lot of work to do. But here my Rebbe is pointing out the difference between what kingship looks like by Jews, who serve God, and, God's going to be king to a people in the way kingship looks by the non-Jews. I want to remind everyone that I do 2 Q&As every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Israel time. Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time, I have a class on duties of the heart, gate of self-accounting. Thursday, Tanakh talk, controversial issues, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Israel time, Pirkei Avos, ethics for fathers. Sunday, Pack Day, Book of Leviticus, chapter 16, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Israel time. And No Hide Nations, No Hide Laws. It's also Sunday, 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time. I have conversion class. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman. We'll be on Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBIChaimCoffman@gmail.com.